So have you heard? TaylorMade have got some new wedges out. That's right, they've got the new Hi-Toe wedges now with raw face technology. Right, so Hi-Toe is nothing new in the sense that it's been out for a couple of years, proved hugely popular with tour players. Not necessarily in every single loft. A lot of the guys on tour still maybe sticking for more of the milled grind look for some of the kind of gap wedges. But certainly in the more lofted wedges, this kind of design has been hugely popular. Now, some refinements to the new models, more expanded in bounces. And let's have a good close-up look at the head, look at the technology in this, because there's a lot of tech. For simply a golf wedge, there's a lot of tech in this. And I'm going to talk through a few of the things TaylorMade are claiming that these wedges are going to produce and help you produce. And then ultimately, we're going to put it to the test and see how accurate those claims are. But just before we do that, if you're new down to my channel, welcome down to Ali Taylor Golf. If you're a returning viewer, thank you as ever for coming back. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. While you're watching, however, if you're enjoying today's video and you don't currently subscribe, I would love it if you'd smash that button below, ring the little bell, and then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. But for now, let's see if Hi-Toe is any good. And most importantly, from a selfish perspective, could they be going in my bag for this year? So like I said, nothing new in the Hi-Toe concept. So obviously a much higher toe, making the CG higher in the head, therefore potentially, TaylorMade are claiming, increasing spin as they've ever done. So we've got a slightly different finish for this year. We've got the new aged copper finish, which I think actually looks incredible, which potentially will wear a little bit better over time. So as we look at the face though, we can see all those grooves on the face. So we're talking narrower but deeper grooves, sharper edges, and TaylorMade are saying increased spin, and particularly in damp conditions. So I'm going to put that to the test. I've got a little squirty bottle with water, and we're going to see how good that wedge actually performs when the golf ball's wet. So we can see with the specs, we've got range of lofts from 50 down to 62 degrees with various bounces. Now, interestingly, when you look at the bounces, there's not a massive variation in there. So I think that'll be interesting, you know, when you are getting fitted for a wedge, there is something to fit for everybody. And there's also the Bigfoot wedge, which has got 15 degrees and that extra wide sole. And when you actually look at the sole, I love the fact that the milling involved on the bottom there and how you can play around with the club face so well to get it to sit well. You know, I just think there's a lot of tech packed into that head, and just really looking forward to testing these and seeing how well they perform. So, traditional Hi-Toe has got obviously the grooves all the way across the face like we saw on the close-up. But interestingly, that's only going on, again, the more lofted ones. So when we're looking at kind of more of your gap wedge, I suppose, this is the 52. You can see much more traditional looking. But it's interesting when you put it down behind the ball, it definitely looks like there's a lot of toe there without anything on. So that might be something that maybe doesn't fit everyone's eye, much as the actual shape of Hi-Toe won't. I actually quite like Hi-Toe. But when you pick it up in the shop, obviously it's going to come with that sticker on. And as you peel that off, over time you'll get that rust. Again, I'm pretty sure from reading the website, TaylorMade claiming that maybe that raw, that rusty finish is going to give more spin. I think we've all seen enough tests, haven't we, that rusty wedges don't spin it more. So I wish manufacturers had maybe stopped claiming that. But for now, let's get on with smashing some wedges. I've got 52, 56 and 60 degree. I'm going to hit some full shots just very quickly to look at my normal yardages. Then we're going to get into some of those shorter pitches, see how the ball spins, wet the golf ball, and see how good the technology is at retaining as much control as possible on the golf ball. Right, so like I said, I've got 52, 56 and 60. So currently in level 4 lockdown, whatever it's called in England, so unable to get out and test. Now, having said that, I'm not massively disappointed because it's cold, it's wet, it's miserable, but obviously a nice clean lie, but that's why I've got that little bottle that I can squirt some moisture on the ball to see how well that face dries the golf ball for different conditions. So I'm going to hit some full shots. I'm on the 18th on TrackMan Simulator on Pebble Beach. They're playing the Pebble Beach Pro-Am this week, so I thought it was a good opportunity. 18th hole. I've got 115 yards, which is normally round about my 52 degree. And these are the exact lofts that I would play in wedges. So let's hit a couple of full ones and see how it performs. Just pick that one a little bit. Ooh, shot off the bunker. So let's have a look there. So 8,200 spin, only carried 103 though, so that was a little shorter than I would have expected. Let's go again. So that's a good strike. Let's see on that one for performance-wise. So lands on the green and comes back. So carried 104, but over 10,000 spin there. So lots and lots of spin. And again, good strike. Is it going to be enough? Again, zipping back. 109 carry and 9,200 spin. Okay, so interestingly there, even though that was only kind of 3 shots, definitely the 52 degree maybe didn't fly it quite as far as I would need it to. Might just get me there actually with that 109, but that's where the fitting's important, and don't always just go for a loft that you always go for. It might be a case there that I need to try 50 to see if I can get myself into around that 113 to 115 yards, which would gap in perfectly with my pitching wedge. But the full shot, pretty good. So let's look at a full shot with a little bit of moisture on the ball. So the idea being, hopefully now, that the grooves and the design of the grooves is really going to clean that moisture away and give me that very normal performance. But let's see how that performs. I definitely felt like it slid up the face a little bit more. But look at that. Didn't need all that spin, to be fair. Okay, so 104 carry, but 9,400 spin. So that was good, and particularly on a full shot, that was pretty decent. So that's the 52, and I think I like the look. I love the finish this year, really do like that finish. But let's move into the 56 degree and move a little bit nearer. Right, so I've moved to just under 70 yards, so 69 yards, pitch shot, just slightly uphill. So this is pretty much my half swing normally with my current 56. So let's see how this performs. Oh, just interestingly, guys, I'm actually using the Titleist Pro V1 X golf ball, which is the golf ball I play. No, you might be disappointed that I'm not using TP5, but that's not the ball I play, so it's not the ball I test with. But I am open, if anyone's interested in these videos, on maybe testing the wedges with, you know, kind of less premium balls and see how they perform. But comment below and let me know if you'd like to see that. Now that one definitely felt a little bit towards the toe. So carried it a little bit further than I was trying to, but over 8,000 spin is really, really good there. Right, so let's go again, see if I can be a bit more dialed in. That's way offline. Get a nice little bounce. So distance control was better on the carry, and again around that 8,000 spin. Now if I can just match the direction of the first one with the distance control of the second. So that one just gripped a little bit more. And again, very consistent spin. And certainly as I'm hitting these shots, definitely when you feel the face of these, they do feel really kind of coarse. And even, I mean, this was a brand new ball. There's already some just very slight little scuff marks on there. So pitch shot, to be fair, that was spinning very much as I would expect with my wedge with that golf ball. So let's just wet the ball again. And this is potentially where we would see the ball not grip on the face as much and it slide up, launch a bit higher and not spin quite as much. So let's see if the tech in the face is going to help me out. Ooh, look at that. A little bit of grip again. Oof. Now that one actually spun a little bit more. Now I'm not saying the golf ball, you'd need to wet it to make it spin more, but that was really impressive. You definitely would traditionally see a little bit of a drop off. Now, I know one of the advantages to testing outside is testing it in long grass and things like that, but if you physically put something in between, you know, like a piece of grass, it's very hard for the club to clean the grass away, but it can definitely get that moisture off the golf ball. And certainly with that first one, that seemed to work absolutely perfectly. So let's go one more with the wet ball. I've just trapped that a little bit, it might fly a little further. So it went in a bit flatter, but stopped very quickly. So the spin dropped down a little bit there, but I would say that was probably more down to the fact that that was me de-lofting that a little bit, and therefore less loft created less spin, but you could still see how that one really stopped quickly. So let's do one more with the wet club, wet golf ball, and just see if we can keep that spin up around that 8,000. Might just need to get down a touch. Oh, hello. Hello. That's very nice. And yeah, that is super impressive. So the only other wedges that I've really seen get close to that kind of performance is kind of the pinks with the Hydro Pearl finish. But I would say, and it's not that I'm skeptical, but I do hate it when manufacturers put things on websites that when you test it, you just don't see it. So absolutely super impressed that that face really does create that spin. So it's the face creating the spin and the grooves are cleaning the ball. And you can certainly, when you look at the close-up of the face there, there's an awful lot of coverage of grooves. So really making sure any moisture there is getting cleaned off. Right, so the 60 degree has still got all the plastic on. So let's just take this off and just play some more shots just in and around the green. See how that performs. You know, and I have to be honest, it's great that they put these on because it stops it obviously rusting in the shop, so you still get it brand new. But when it's just all over the face, it's such hard work to get it off. Right, so I'm glad I didn't video all that. Could have been my first ever hour-long video. Right, so just under 30 yards. So I've got the 60 degree. Love the way that sits behind the golf ball. And like I said in the intro, you know, I like the fact with the sole, the fact that if you want to play around with the club face a little bit, or even chip in and you want to get the shaft more upright, that leading edge still sits nice and tight to the ground. So lots and lots of versatility there. So let's hit a couple with a square blade into this, just see how the ball performs. So that one just pitched it a little further than I needed, but still very good spin for kind of a very short shot. That's my bad one. You can see spin just dropped down to 4,000 there. Really nipped it. And yeah, they go in a little bit flatter because it's such a short shot. So probably what the shot you'll see a lot of guys play from this range is where they might even open the club face up a little bit. So like I said, love the fact that the leading edge still sits tight to the ground. Obviously when you open the club face, it's very easy to get that strike a little bit towards the toe, which is where having these grooves all the way across the face, and for this year obviously the rust across the face, should give you that maximum control even on these shots where you're opening it up a bit. So we can see that one. High, soft, spin drop down, but you run the risk when you open the club face that you get past that point of generating maximum spin. So perfect loft with speed creates friction, but let's see if I can open that face a little bit, get a little bit more speed in there. Get that one to land and stop pretty quickly. And you can see there, because I put a bit more speed in, got a little bit more spin. So again, let's try that short one. Wet the ball this time, open that club face. So everything about this should make it hard for me to create spin and get the ball to stop. So obviously just pitched it too far. But lots and lots of spin again. Right, so I'm actually going to leave the face just a little bit damp after that last shot. So I've wet the ball again. Nip that one. Again, a little too far. Again, loads and loads of spin. So let's just see if I can get one close from this range. To be honest, I don't really play that shot, this kind of range with an open club face much. Let's just try one more, see if we'll get one close. Well, distance control was good, a little bit wide. And again, you can see that spin drops off there because my speed's dropped off. But all in all, really like kind of the way that wedge, or all those wedges, perform. You can see even that little low fizzy one there. Good spin for such a short shot. Right, so what did I think of the Hi-Toe wedges? To be honest, I've always liked the look of the Hi-Toe. Didn't bother me the slightly different shape. So really like the new finish. So I think the shape and the finish go together really well. For me, kind of the Lofts, I might just need to revisit gapping on full shots just to make sure if these went in my bag, my gaps aren't bigger than they need to be, say from pitching wedge to 52. But decent spin, or lots of spin on the full shot with the 52, as I would expect. The pitch shots kind of spun as I expected, but what really impressed me, and would definitely be the thing that would make me consider putting these in my bag, is when I wet the golf ball, we almost saw no drop off at all. So really all that tech in the face, absolutely doing what TaylorMade say. And for me as a golfer, I want as much control as possible off every type of condition. So Hi-Toe from TaylorMade, definite consideration from me. And if you're in the market for new wedges, if you go along for a fitting, you should definitely be looking to try these if they've got them. And if you're just someone who buys straight off the shelf, you know, absolutely these are something that as long as they fit your eye, you should consider putting in your bag for for 2021. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like it and share it. Comment below and I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you have enjoyed it and you haven't currently subscribed, quickly click that button below. Ring the notification bell, then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you down here soon. Stay in contact.